Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I understand that it can often be difficult to express our thoughts when describing something, so we end up using the same word over and over again in every scenario, and that word is very. We say very good, very big, very beautiful, very interesting, and so on and so forth. There are several problems with this. First, if you're writing an essay, you're often limited with words, so using one word instead of two could really save on some words. Second, if you're taking an English speaking test, such as the IELTS test, the examiner would appreciate it more if you used a variety of words instead of just repeating the same one over and over. So I'll be sharing with you some alternative words that you can use instead of the word very. I'll split them into two videos. The first video will talk about the most commonly used adjectives, while in the second video I'll go over additional adjectives that might also be useful. Without further ado, let's get started. The first one is very good. This is probably the most common one we use, and it can really be applied to anything. There are several alternatives you can use, such as excellent, amazing, wonderful. For example, the food here is excellent, or thank you, you did such an amazing job, or this is a wonderful opportunity. There are also other alternatives you can use, such as superb, magnificent, marvelous, splendid, fantastic. And there are many more alternatives to very good that I could make an entire video of, but I won't talk about them in this video. So let's move on to the next one. So on the opposite side, we have very bad, and this is also another expression we often use to describe something. There are several alternatives you can use instead of very bad, such as horrible, awful, or terrible. Some examples would be, I'm sorry, that's such a horrible thing to have happened to you. That must have been an awful experience. That's just terrible. The next one is very big, and we often use this to describe something that is large in size. So there are several alternatives to this word. You can use huge, enormous, massive. So some examples would be, that office building over there is huge. This statue is enormous. That plane is just massive. Besides using very big for physical objects, sometimes you also use it for numbers and amounts. And an alternative you could use is astronomical. An example would be, the hotel charges an astronomical fee. The next one is very small. There are several alternatives you can use, one of which is tiny. An example would be, my apartment is tiny. However, when you're talking about something that is really small, that is barely visible to the naked eye, you could use something like microscopic. So an example would be, some insects are big while others are microscopic. Similar to the previous one, sometimes you also use very small, not with physical objects, but with an amount or a number. So an alternative you could use is minuscule. An example would be, wages in that shop is minuscule. The next word is very beautiful. Now, you could use this to talk about a person or an object. And when you're talking about a person, you could use alternatives such as stunning, or gorgeous, or charming. Some examples would be, you look stunning in that dress, or you are gorgeous today. He looks charming in that suit. When you're talking about beautiful objects, there are several words you can use, such as magnificent, or breathtaking, or exquisite. Some examples would be, the view from my window is magnificent. The landscape is breathtaking, or the ornament is exquisite. The next one is very happy. There are several alternatives to this one. You could say thrilled, delighted, ecstatic. For instance, I am thrilled to meet you. I would be delighted if you could come. He is just ecstatic when his nephew's around. The next one is very smart, and you could use this to talk about a person or an idea. Some alternatives would be intelligent, clever, brilliant. He does well in his classes because he is intelligent. Even at such a young age, she is clever. That's a brilliant idea. I love it. The next one is very important. And this is one of the words that we use very often in our conversations or even in writing. There are several alternatives to this, such as crucial, vital, essential, imperative, or integral. For example, it is crucial that we understand the issue first. It is essential that we discuss things thoroughly with the team. This chapter is an integral part of the book. Another commonly used adjective is very interesting. Some alternatives you can use are intriguing, fascinating, captivating. For instance, the lecture I attended was intriguing. The topic they had was fascinating. I was captivated throughout the whole session. The next one is very scary. There are several alternatives you can use, such as terrifying, frightening, chilling. Examples would be, the movie we watched was terrifying. I was frightened. The story she told was chilling. The next one is very angry, and we use this to describe something that makes us really mad. You could use alternatives such as furious, outraged, or livid. For example, his mum was furious with his behavior. She was outraged with what he said. When I told her, she was livid. So that's it for today, guys. I hope these words have helped you enrich your vocabulary. Now, the next time you're having a conversation or you're writing an essay and you want to say very something, I hope you stop for a minute and think, is there another way I can express this? I really hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your family and friends. Also, if you haven't, don't forget to subscribe to be notified of future videos. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!